In 1884, the German Empire officially colonized what is now Namibia, calling it German Southwest Africa. At the time, European powers were carving up Africa during the scramble for Africa, treating entire nations as property to be divided among empires. For Germany, Namibia was not simply a colony. It became a settler colony. German settlers arrived to take control of the best farmland, water sources, and cattle routes. Indigenous communities, especially the Herero and Nama peoples, were pushed off their ancestral lands through force, deception, taxation, and military violence. Before colonization, the Herero were largely cattle-herding communities whose wealth, identity, and survival depended on land and livestock. The Nama were also established communities with deep territorial and cultural roots. German colonial expansion disrupted both societies almost immediately. Tensions exploded in 1904 when the Herero rose against German rule after years of land seizures, abuse, and exploitation. Germany responded with overwhelming brutality under General Lothar von Trotha. Instead of merely defeating resistance fighters, the colonial administration adopted a policy of extermination. Von Trotha issued what became known as the Extermination Order. Herero civilians, including women and children, were driven into the Omaheke Desert, where German troops blocked access to waterholes. Thousands died from thirst, starvation, and exposure. Survivors who surrendered were placed in concentration camps and forced labor systems. Soon after, the Nama also resisted German rule and faced similar repression. By the end of the conflict, historians estimate that up to 80% of the Herero population and around half of the Nama population had been killed. Many historians consider this the first genocide of the 20th century. The genocide did not end with death alone. Germany confiscated enormous amounts of land and livestock from the survivors. Indigenous communities who had once controlled vast territories became laborers on land they previously owned. German settlers and colonial companies inherited the economic foundations of the country. That legacy did not disappear after colonialism formally ended. Even today, land ownership in Namibia remains deeply unequal. A small white minority, many descended from German and South African settler families, still owns a disproportionately large amount of commercial farmland. The statistic often repeated, that Germans or white Namibians make up around 2% of the population yet control much of the productive land, reflects how colonial land structures survived long after independence. For descendants of the Herero and Nama, the issue is not only economic, it is emotional, spiritual, and historical. Some ancestral burial grounds and massacre sites are located on privately owned commercial farms. Families whose ancestors were driven off the land sometimes need permission to enter areas where their relatives died. This is why the memory of the genocide remains deeply painful. Many Namibians argue that true reconciliation cannot happen without meaningful land reform, reparations, and acknowledgement of the full scale of colonial crimes.